Hello, everyone. Tonight we're going to start Chapter 8 of Super Space Trash Blues. Um, I don't know what. Hold on, I gotta fix something already. Um, this one's gonna be a little harder this time because I don't know where I'm going with this at all. No, I have no clue. Um, but we'll see. I just have no idea, really. But we'll see. I don't know if I mean, this is a good opportunity for two characters to bond, but I just don't know if I'm ready for that yet or not. I think so. I think so. So that's probably where we're gonna start, maybe, and see what happens. Uh, so let's go ahead, drink our wine. Let's go ahead and open this now. Uh, Drink our wine, our bubbly water, and start it up. I'm looking for the name of that ship really quickly, and then we'll start. Okay. Hey, Robo Goblin, I hope you're doing well. Good, that's good to hear. It is Wednesday in the middle of the week, and I'm ready for it to be Friday. I'll tell you that much. I understand. Projects can be a pain in the ass. I have this one that I started, but at the same time, I have a ton more like on the back burner that like I feel like I'm missing out on, and I hate it. Like if I could ride all day, that would be great, you know? And just switch between what I needed. I need to make sure I'm calling this the right way. Intergalactic Information Database. That was it. Yadi. Because this one's gonna take precedence over everything because of with, you know, real life issues and all of that. I don't have a lot of time to type. So I've got a big bunch of stuff that I want to do, but I can't. So, but I'll get to it hopefully. Hopefully this winter break I'll put in the time I need. You know, it fares. It fares well. Arr. It's doing okay. I'm on a struggle. I stuck two characters on a ship that isn't theirs, and they don't like each other. And I'm trying to figure out if I'm gonna have like some kind of big reveal or not. But we'll see. We'll see. I hope yours is doing well, or I hope you've done yours already. I, of course, have not. So that's where I am right now. Yeah. You did. Well, that's good. That's good. I can't talk like a pirate. I can talk like a bad Scotsman, though, if you wish. Best as I can do. the follow, people. I really appreciate it. Good, and do this to be polite. Oh, okay.
Quick in 5 words, what do you stream about?
Okay. Follow you. Not that way, apparently. But I'll get there. Yes, sorry. I will follow you to be polite when I get done here. Don't worry, mine's really bad too. It's when I had a longer beard. I don't know if it is or not. I actually don't know. I need some form of accountability when I do things like this. I don't get a lot of followers. I don't get a lot of viewers. I don't get a lot of interaction. But it forces me to do it, right? So that's what I do. Just for this month. Normally, I play. When I was streaming all the time, I was playing Apex, which I'm really bad at. You play Apex? Cool. We should play sometime for sure. Oh, accountability. Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too, man. I cannot do it any other way. Sure. That's what it was. Thanks for that, Rain. I really appreciate that. Um, I try. Today was observation day, so it was a little nerve-wracking, but I think it went off without a hitch. Out of one. Switch to cider blues beer. I have not, but I do have it. So it's one I guess I could play if I wanted to. Um, I've been switching between Baldur's Gate and Apex, but I kind of burnt myself out on Baldur's Gate. I'm on Act 3. Um, so I've been looking for another game. I actually want another space game. Like I went too hard with No Man's Sky. And I'm thinking about picking up Star Citizen, but I don't know yet. No, what happened with BlizzCon? Like, tell me what's going on. I heard that they're going to like change up some of the things, like warlocks and shaman will be able to tank, and one version of the mage will be able to heal. I'm I hate to say it, but I'm tempted to jump back in when this happens. November 30th. I better save up some money if I'm going to do that then. Really? I don't know if I've been not active for 2 years or not. I need to check that. Well, that's really cool. I need to really check into that then. Sorry. I was slumping there, so thanks. Alright. Okay. First thing we will do is we will look at our word count for tonight. It is 2057. Alright. Let's go ahead and pop this up here. Okay. So let's update my progress. 2057. Didn't feel too good about this one either. Writing at home. It's not on a laptop, but whatever. Okay. So, if you want to find me on here, my username is just Patrick Johnson. Just so you know. So we're at 16,018 words. Let's go ahead and change that on our counter. Let's see. 16,018 words. Okay. So that means we were aiming for 13,000 today. We're 3,000 ahead, which is fine with me. We are 32% into that. Awesome. Cool. Alright, so the next step of this, those of you that haven't been here before, I do this thing where I read through it. And then I'll let you go for the night. Just a reminder, and a thank you for hanging out with me. I know that's a very boring thing, but, you know, it helps me out knowing that there are people there having a conversation. I like it. All right, and this is what you see here is the only notes that I have of what I'm going with. I'm trying to add to it. Things have been a little busy. Anyways, let's go ahead and read these 4 pages really quickly. And actually, hold on. Let me put that over on our main manuscript here. You can't see this, but Control A. Let's make sure everything's cool. Control A, Control C. Where is it at? There it is. Let's drop down here to the bottom. Okay. So we've got another chapter down, single space. We're looking at. Calm down, computer. Who knows? It won't tell me. That's cool. Let's go ahead and save this. We'll minimize that. All right. We'll read this and then you're free to go. All right. Chapter 8, 24 hours. The Black Ocean wasn't what Astrid had thought anyone's ship should look like. It wasn't because it was small or it didn't have a kitchen like the Valmont. It was in fact that none of the crew had taken care of their surroundings. As she and Alindra walked the 4 narrow halls and explored the bedrooms, common room, and medical room, one thing became obvious. The ship's previous crew had no self-respect for the ship that carried them. The walls were covered in graffiti, and where there was space, there was damage from gunfire or something large hitting the walls. It was easy for Astrid to assume that the Algog was the culprit for such things. The small amount of information she had on them has suggested that most of them weren't too smart and violent. They were usually given a big weapon, a bit of armor, and pointed in the right direction. One of the oldest living weapons used by space pirates and Galactic Coalition. Alindra had said that they should search for the rooms for anything of use. If she found anything, they would stack it in the hall, and then they would meet back up with the others. They'd transfer everything over and see if they could sell the Black Ocean on Extortion. Extortion is capitalized because that is a planet's name. The first room she entered was cluttered with unwashed clothes, dented Star Void cans, and addictive soda that was banned on most GC planets, and the walls were covered in posters of half-naked women of all races that could be found across the galaxy. What caught her attention was a wide desk that took up half the room. Though everything else was in ruins, there was a collection of decks, keyboards, data slates, and other attachments that would be needed to access whatever was needed. She looked all of it over, and though she wasn't aware of what a lot of it was used for, she was sure that, after a bit of searching on the Intergalactic Information Database, she would be right as rain. It didn't seem like a good idea to move any of it now, so she stepped out of the room just as Alindra was dropping large green metal boxes on top of one another. The other rooms had nothing that seemed interesting, just a lot of garbage, perishables, and remnants of who the dead crew used to be. Give me a minute, ADI. When the search was said and done, there wasn't much to look at. Alindra had found a few guns that had been modified. The metal boxes contained a drug called Pushback that she claimed could be sold on Extortion for a lot of money. Though Astrid had researched and tried a few of the mind-altering drugs on her planet, she wasn't about to try anything that the crew of the Black Ocean had created. Without a doubt, she would have found herself either addicted or dead. In this, Alindra walked out of the rooms holding a very large hammer that had what looked like a small rocket engine attached to one end. What? Astrid nodded. Is that? This, Alindra smiled, hefting it up with two hands, is mine. The hammer was as tall as Astrid, with black and yellow tape wrapped diagonally all around the handle. In the middle was a switch with some wires running to the head of the hammer, which she assumed activated the engine. She could imagine that the Algog could have destroyed more than one person with a single swing. After searching the rest of the place and collecting a few medical supplies, there was nothing left to do than wait. Alindra paced the halls and would occasionally check on the status of the jump, make a few adjustments, and then continue to walk again. Astrid, sitting in the commander's massive chair, could hear her rummaging through already looked-through items. Found this, Alindra said, coming into the room holding a dirty plastic container with a lid. Inside, the brown liquid sloshed as she shook it. What is that? It's either oil and gas mixed, a homemade drink, or a little of both, she smiled, her bottom fangs showing. You think we should? Astrid asked. We've got fuck all to do anyways, but wait. Alindra sat down on the floor with her legs crossed, and Astrid did the same. The Orcish woman spun off the lid and took a deep smell. Her green eyes widened, and she smiled even bigger. Without another word, she turned it up and took a large drink. When she pulled away, she let out a large sigh and nodded. Astrid grabbed the container and, without even taking smell, turned it up. The liquid was thick and oily. There was a hint of dark chocolate as well as gasoline. Fire poured down her throat, coated her lungs, and set her nose on fire. She started coughing violently. A little weak, Alindra said, taking the container back. They traded it back and forth until the entire container was gone, and though Alindra pretended to act differently, Astrid, through her blurry vision, could see that she was swaying back and forth as well. Both were breathing heavily. I guess you heard those guys call me a butcher of Verita, she said. That I did, Astrid nodded. It ain't true, she said. Those folks were slaughtered not by us. I believe you, Astrid smiled. No, you don't, Alindra frowned. No one believes that an orc is capable of empathy. Let's turn this down a little bit. That's... Astrid shook her head. You're right. I judged you wrong. Everyone does, Alindra replied. I am mean. You are mean, Astrid nodded, but not cruel. It was a transport ship. Alindra looked down at the container, and we had been told it was a setup for free salvage to the first person to get it. Astrid nodded. However, she knew that if she pushed for information, Alindra not stop talking, so instead, she just sat there watching the woman count her fingers before continuing. So we got there, and it turned out that Veritas was badly damaged, she swallowed, but everyone on board was very much alive and happy to see us. Who was on it? Astrid asked. A bunch of families with a lot of kids, Alinda replied. They were refugees looking for a new home and didn't have enough credits to buy a fully working ship. Paid what they could and fled into space, running from whatever in hopes, out of all of the impossibility, that they'd find a new place in this empty verse. But they didn't, Astrid said, leaning back against the bottom of the chair. That doesn't belong there. I'm having a stroke. No, Walindra shook her head. They didn't. Around the time we found them, there was a GC salvage crew as well. Their orders were to dismantle the ship and send everything back to the prime planets. Do they do that often? Astrid asked. We didn't see them on the Freeman. It depends on if someone reports it, she said, and someone reported this one. So there we were, trying to figure out how to get 200 souls on our ship and make it back to a planet where they would be safe and when the GC showed up. Of course, we couldn't run, so we waited for them to come aboard. Aren't they supposed to protect their citizens? Astrid said, and she remembered how they had just killed her parents on pretense, and felt stupid for saying what she did. Of course they're supposed to, but a big thing like that, ran like a corporation looking at losses and gains, don't really have time to care for the common man, she frowned. Of course not, Astrid said, thinking about how her father had made political decisions over and over that had killed so many to protect her secret. So they sent a squad on board to talk to us and the survivors. Lander grew very still, and Winston was there telling us that we needed to get out of there, that something bad was going to happen. Winston was alive on the Veritas? Astrid asked. Yes, she replied. Alive and well. He was shouting for us all to listen and not let the GC squad on board. But what could we have done? Well, what would you have done differently? Astrid asked. I wouldn't have let us go anywhere near the Veritas, Alindra sighed. Winston was such a good boy. He was a kid? Astrid frowned. No, Alindra shook her head. We didn't allow kids on our crew. But you called him a good boy. Yeah. Alindra's eyes seemed to water up. He was a dog. A dog. Astrid leaned forward. That talked? Yes, Alindra growled. Is that a problem? Astrid, never hearing of a talking dog, held up her hands to say that it wasn't, and Alindra should go on with her story. They had lined the entire group up to take inventory, they said, and they claimed that we were free to go. And when we started to leave, Winston wouldn't. He kept shouting that everyone was going to die and that the GC was going to commit a massacre and we were going to let it happen. What happened? Alden tried to intervene. There was a scuffle and one of the GC shot Winston in his back leg. Then another GC fired on him, and before we knew it, our friend had been riddled with bullets. I grabbed his body and Alden fought with the squad until we were able to get on board. She took a deep breath. The moment we moved away from the ship, Alden closed her eyes. A few tears streamed down her face. They shot every single person on that ship. And though I was sickened by their actions, I was more worried about Winston. Was that his room? Astrid asked. That you put me in? No, Melinda shook her head. He slept at the foot of my bed. I'm sorry. I didn't know what to do, so I took him to Forge, who panicked and hooked him up to a half-working idea that would transfer someone's mind into a hard drive. The problem was that we didn't have a hard drive big enough for a fully conscious person. So, you used the ship. We used the ship, she nodded. And why didn't you tell him about all of it? Astrid asked. Because we're not sure what will happen when we do, Alindra said. But the GC doctored the footage and it looked like we had something to do with it. It even looks like I shot Winston, our crew member. And of course, because I'm a violent orc, it's believable. Well, that's horrible, Astrid said. It's the worst, Alindra said. My entire race wiped themselves out almost completely over war and religion. And by the time I came around to the verse as a kid, my parents were already gone, and I was raised by two dwarves. I have been alone from the start, and that is until Alden found me. You guys have gone through a lot, Astrid asked. Too much to tell you about this now, Alindra growled. Didn't mean to push, she said. Just understand that we're a lonely bunch in the Valmont. And we've got stories. I know, I'm just a passenger, Astrid said. For now, Alindra said. We've got to get back and figure out what's on that shard. I'm sure nothing good, Astrid said. When it comes to fate, Alindra said, it's never good. I need to leave you, she said. Get away from the crew before one of you dies. We're all gonna die, Alindra smiled. The catch is controlling when and how. How do you plan on dying? Astrid asked. Not in your arms, Alindra laughed. Astrid laughed at her. The Black Ocean, an ancient ship that had switched crews a multitude of times, silently tore through the void of space on a destination. It traveled in a straight line with a single purpose of getting from point B to point A. It did not care about the two individuals serving as a skeleton crew, nor did it care about those two women who felt a change inside themselves, where their hardened disposition softened a bit. Maybe closer to understanding one another. All right. So there we go. I don't know where I'm going to go. Again, this is my plan. As always, I'm open to ideas, suggestions. Please send them to me in a message on Twitch, if you've got my email, if you're on my Discord, anywhere at all. Just send me an idea. And, oh, I gotta hydrate. I'm sorry. Let me. Yes. Yes, hydrating with alcohol. That's what that is, right? Right? And I'm out of this. Holy shit. So if you got ideas, let me know. We can collaborate. Yeah, I do have a seltzer water. See, so I'll count that. But I'm always open to ideas. I again don't know where I'm going with this. I do have two characters here that I haven't brought into the story yet. I kind of want to bring this one in a lot. The other two characters that I had ideas for, one, they'll meet him on extortion, but I don't know others. Again, this is something that is very vulnerable. You're watching me type in real time. You're watching me kind of stumble across spellings. There's a lot of errors in this, things that need to be taken apart, maybe deleted. Like the last chapter that you can't see. It's not good. Like it's not good at all. I don't need to save this. Let me see if I can okay, there's just my creative. Okay, there we go. Like I forgot where it is. But it's just not a good chapter to me. I forgot what it was called. Let's just do this. Chapter 7. Defense of the Freeman, right? I don't like what it did. It kind of wrote myself into a corner. I wasn't ready to have those two characters kind of like commune yet, but it happened. But that's okay. That's okay. This is why this is a rough draft. So I'll be back tomorrow around 9 or 10 to do the same thing that I've done for the last 8 days. Out of 30 days, we've still got a while to go. If I keep up what I'm doing though, let's see here. If I keep going, they're saying that I will finish November 27th, right? So let's hope that happens. Like I said, I've completed this 2 times before, and it was fun. So let's hope I can do that again. But anyways, thank you for watching. Thank you for talking to me. Thanks for the follow. I'm getting ready to go follow you right now if you're still on here. And I will be back tomorrow. For those that I'll see tomorrow, I'll see you then. For those that I'll see you later, have a good night. Have a good day. Keep on riding.